You know, there's one thing you learn in the world of Meghan Markle, and we've often learned this, right, chums? Never her fault, can never be her fault. And of course, her husband, her beau, or as many people like to consider him, her doe, of course, Prince Harry. Well, the bottom line is he takes up that mantle and basically says, no, you know, Meghan, oh, you can't blame her. It's not her fault when things go wrong. It's everybody else. And Harry, as we know, in a recent visit to London, well, once again, he was bleating on about the fact that he and Meghan had been treated very badly, not just by senior members of the British monarchy, of course, but naturally the British press. He liked to point out as well, you know, that he was there to do good things, giving away millions of pounds, pledging millions of pounds. We'll just leave that one there for now. But of course, apparently, according to an excellent source at least, well, Meghan Markle now blames this senior member of the British monarchy for the reason as to why that secret meeting, the reunion between Prince Harry and his father, His Majesty the King, King Charles III, didn't exactly go to plan. Of course, it's nothing to do with Meghan. Keep that in mind. Morning, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today, and lovely to see you one and all. Yes, I'm talking to you. Isn't this a beautiful, tranquil and absolutely gorgeous setting? You know, when you come down here at the height of the summer, there's so many of those wonderful narrow boats and people living a life. But what you have to remember, and I do think this as it sort of turns autumnal and then we go into winter, it's a totally different life. If you live on a narrow boat, tell me in the comments, I'd love to know, what's the best bits and what's the worst bits? And are we right in thinking, all the rest of us chums, of course, who don't live the narrowboat life, is there something that's the worst bit about winter? Or indeed, am I right, is spring and summer? I mean, it just looks lovely as you're cruising up and down, sitting on top of the deck. There's the dog looking out and you think, yes, that's a tranquil life. Harder than it looks, am I right? It's a bit like royal life, apparently, according to Meghan Markle. That was harder than it looks because nobody cared. Oh no, nobody bothered, nobody helped her. And of course, you know, she only had Harry to turn to. Always the victim, as we know, with Meghan, and obviously on a very big week when the focus hasn't been on her and her jams that don't sell, or her crepes, or a wine that doesn't seemingly get very good approval rating. Well, Meghan, you see, turned her attention to the fact that her husband, as you famously now saw on our Instagram post, with the 2 glasses and a bottle of wine, what happens when your beau returns? He's not your beau, he's your husband. You should really either call him by his title name, the Duke, or Dukedom, as she made fun of in that recent interview with Bloomberg, or of his, you know, she can never just call him Prince Harry. It's always H or as or something. You know, you think, yeah, where's your respect? Clearly none. And this is where Harry has to do all the legwork, you see, because as you know, when he turned back up here to see his father, His Majesty the King, well, there were problems, obviously, because he didn't bank on this particular lady sitting there standing by her man, as Tammy Wynette famously said. Camilla, the Queen. Absolutely, she was there, and apparently Harry just wanted to have that one-to-one with his father, that one-to-one time that Meghan spun into a wonderful story for Us Weekly magazine, the tabloid newspaper over in America that sells very well, but she omitted this particular bit. You see, Camilla and Meghan never really got on. In fact, let me point this out just for context here, it's important. Harry got on very well with Camilla until somebody turned up, Meghan Markle. Suddenly, you know, no, he didn't suddenly get on with her. And of course, she was dangerous, as he pointed out in his book, Spare. But up until that point, both he and William, well, they wanted the very best for their father. They understood that, you know, this was the life that he was meant to have, and they got on incredibly well, including with all of Camilla's children. You get the picture. And what's interesting now, you see, Meghan Markle is blaming Camilla, even though Camilla put herself out beyond all to try and welcome in Meghan to the British monarchy. You see, she felt sorry for Meghan, knowing what she'd gone through with the terrible media, the backlash, the press. Whether you're a fan of Camilla or not, she really roughed it hard. I mean, it was very, very difficult for her. And, you know, she couldn't answer back. Well, apparently Meghan liked Camilla in the beginning, but according to a source, suddenly, no, something changed. Always does with Meghan. There's a list of friends where it suddenly changes, you get the picture. And now, of course, she's blaming the fact that Camilla was there simply because Harry and his father couldn't have that intimate conversation that they wanted to have. Tricky though, isn't it, when you've called your father's wife dangerous and playing into the hands of the media? You can understand why there might be a bit of a stilted conversation in the room. And this, of course, is the next context after stepping away and making some money by promoting the Disney project through a documentary of which they got that free holiday and those pixelated pictures of their children to rake some extra cash in. You see, if Harry was just sat with his father, then the problem would be he could say anything. Camilla by his side meant that Harry had to stick to the truth. And that's a problem, as we all know, for Meghan Markle. Either way, this is a developing story. Neil Sean in the very heart of the United Kingdom.